Ryan Mitchell sat in his car outside Riverside Cafe at 7:49 p.m., $500 bills in his hand, weighing more than anything he'd ever held. The money was supposed to be simple: show up, treat a woman he'd never met badly, leave after 20 minutes. They told him she had dwarfism, that she needed to learn her lesson about dating, that this was kindness disguised as a job. He'd counted the bills 3 times that morning, enough to buy his daughter's inhaler and keep the electricity on for another month. The kind of money that makes a desperate man ignore the knot in his stomach. Through the cafe window, he could see her already seated, small frame, composed posture, checking her phone with the nervous energy of someone who still believed in first dates. Emma, or Kate, as she'd introduced herself on the app. She wore a blue dress, had ordered water, and the way she smoothed her napkin made his chest tighten. This was supposed to be easy, a transaction, cruelty for cash. But sitting there, his engine cooling, Ryan realized the money in his hand wasn't heavy because of what it could buy. It was heavy because of the price he'd have to pay. The eviction notice had appeared 3 days ago, tucked between the gas bill and a credit card statement Ryan had stopped opening. Red letters, formal language, the kind of bureaucratic certainty that didn't care about excuses. He'd stared at it while Lily ate cereal at their apartment's tiny kitchen table, her legs swinging because the chair was too tall, her backpack already packed for school. 7 years old, and she still drew pictures of families with mothers in them, stick figures holding hands under triangle houses and circular suns. Sarah had been gone 3 years. Cancer, fast and merciless, the kind that turned hope into a luxury they couldn't afford even when insurance covered the treatments. Ryan had sold the car first, then the furniture, then everything that wasn't nailed down or necessary for a child to feel like she had a home. The software engineering career he'd built over 12 years evaporated when he couldn't make meetings, couldn't focus through the medication schedules and hospice visits and the terrible algebra of watching someone disappear in increments. 8 months ago, the final severance check cleared. Now he loaded warehouse boxes on the overnight shift for $15 an hour, and his hands that used to write elegant code, that used to solve problems people with advanced degrees couldn't crack, now just ached. The pharmacy had been worse than the eviction notice. Lily's inhaler sat behind the counter. $200. Insurance lapsed last month. The pharmacist had been kind about it, which somehow made it harder. Ryan had $47.23 in his checking account. He'd stood there, wallet open, while Lily waited on the plastic chairs near the blood pressure machine, swinging her legs again, trusting him to fix it because that's what fathers did. That night, desperate, he'd scrolled job listings until his vision blurred. The email appeared at 11:30, sender name just a string of numbers. Quick $500 for 2 hours work. No illegal activity. Immediate pay. The phone number at the bottom looked legitimate. Ryan had stared at his sleeping daughter, at the medical bills stacked on the counter, at his own face reflected in the darkened phone screen, gaunt, exhausted, unrecognizable. He'd made the call. The man who met him in the grocery store parking lot introduced himself as Marcus, assistant to someone important, wouldn't say who. Mid-40s, expensive watch. The kind of casual confidence money builds like layers of insulation. He'd explained it quickly. His employer's cousin was different. Dwarfism. She kept trying to date online, kept setting herself up for disappointment. The family worried. This blind date tomorrow at Riverside Cafe, 7 p.m. Ryan's job was simple. Show up as Mike. Be rude. Make her uncomfortable. Leave early. Let her understand that this path only led to humiliation, that she should stop wasting her time and everyone else's. You'd be doing her a favor, Marcus had said, sliding an envelope across his car's center console. Sometimes kindness looks cruel. She needs to accept reality. Ryan had taken the envelope. 5 crisp hundreds. He'd bought Lily's inhaler that night, paid partial rent the next morning. The money felt clean in his wallet and filthy in his conscience, but Lily breathed easier, and the landlord stopped calling, and sometimes survival required becoming someone you'd never wanted to be. Now, Sitting outside Riverside Cafe with 10 minutes until the reservation time, Ryan watched the woman through the window. She was checking her phone again, tucking hair behind her ear, the universal gestures of first-date anxiety. Her frame was small, maybe 4 feet tall, he guessed, but she carried herself with a straightness that suggested she'd stopped apologizing for taking up space a long time ago. The blue dress was simple, professional. Her hands, when she reached for the water glass, moved with careful precision, like someone used to adapting to a world built for different proportions. Ryan's chest felt tight. This was a person. A real person who'd gotten ready for this date, who'd chosen that dress, who'd probably told a friend where she'd be just in case, who still believed enough in connection to show up. He looked at the money in his hand again. Then he looked at the glove compartment where Lily's inhaler sat, the orange plastic bright against the gray interior. The arithmetic was brutal and simple. His daughter's breathing, or this stranger's dignity. His integrity, or Lily's safety. There was no good choice here, just gradations of wrong. Ryan folded the bills, slid them into his jacket pocket, and got out of the car. The evening air was cool, Seattle's autumn settling in with the smell of rain not quite falling yet. Through the cafe window, Emma, whatever her real name was, looked up as the door chimed, and for half a second their eyes met. Hers were green, sharp, assessing. Then she smiled, and it was genuine enough to make his stomach drop. He was going to ruin this woman's night. For $500. For his daughter. For survival. Ryan pulled open the door and stepped inside. The cafe was warm, filled with the low hum of conversation and the hiss of the espresso machine. Ryan spotted the reservation table immediately, corner booth. Some privacy, perfect for a first date or a planned humiliation. She stood as he approached, which required sliding off the custom chair. He noticed the restaurant kept a few shorter seats available, and extending her hand. Her grip was firm, confident, meeting his eyes directly. "Mike?" she smiled. "I'm Kate. Thanks for coming." "Yeah." Ryan's prepared rudeness stuck in his throat. "Hi." They sat. She was already settled, water half drunk, menu unopened like she'd been too nervous to look at food. Up close, her face was striking sharp cheekbones, intelligent eyes, a small scar above her left eyebrow that suggested a story. She wore minimal makeup. Her hands, folded on the table, showed no rings. "First blind date?" she asked, voice warm, a little teasing. Ryan's script evaporated. He was supposed to grunt, check his phone, make her feel small. Instead, he said, "Yeah, you? More than I'd like to admit." She laughed, and it sounded real, not performative. "But I'm an optimist, or maybe just stubborn." The waiter appeared, took orders Ryan barely registered. She asked about him, and he found himself answering honestly, single dad, 1 daughter, 7 years old. The words came out before he could stop them, before he could remember that cruelty required distance. Kate's expression softened immediately. "That must be hard," she said. "Raising a child alone. She makes it worth it." Ryan's voice caught. "I'd do anything for her." Something shifted in Kate's face. A recognition. "That's clear. The way you talk about her, that's real love." Ryan's plan was disintegrating. He was supposed to insult her, leave, collect his money, never think about this again. But she kept talking, kept being human, kept revealing herself as someone who worked in tech consulting, deliberately vague, and who was tired of being judged before people knew her, who saw his exhaustion and didn't comment, who listened when he spoke, who laughed at his dry observation about the restaurant's overly complicated menu. "People see this first," she said at one point, gesturing to herself with a practiced casualness that didn't quite hide the old hurt underneath. "Before they see me. I get it. I'm different, but I'm also just someone looking for connection, you know? Same as everyone." Ryan's chest constricted. He couldn't do this. He couldn't hurt someone this genuine, this real, this kind. Whatever money Marcus had paid him, it wasn't enough. Nothing would be enough. "I need to tell you something," he said suddenly. Kate's expression shifted, guarded now. Okay. I wasn't supposed to, Ryan started, but movement caught his eye. A man approaching their table, mid-40s, expensive suit, an expression of surprise that seemed calculated. Ryan recognized him immediately. Marcus's employer, the man who'd paid for this humiliation. Kate? The man smiled, cold. What are you doing here? Kate's posture changed instantly. Ramrod straight, jaw tight. Vincent, this is private. Vincent looked at Ryan, assessing, dismissive. Did the hired help work out as planned? The words landed like a slap. Ryan understood instantly. Vincent knew. Vincent was the employer. And somehow, Kate knew Vincent. Leave, Kate said, voice hard now. Now, Vincent smirked. Enjoy your date. He walked away, rejoining colleagues at a nearby table, but his glance back was pointed, triumphant. Kate turned to Ryan, face pale. What did he mean? Hired help? Ryan's throat felt like sandpaper. I was paid to ruin this date, to be cruel to you and leave. I needed money desperately. And he pulled the envelope from his jacket, pushed it across the table. I can't do it. I won't. You don't deserve that. I'm sorry. Silence stretched between them, thick and terrible. Kate stared at the money, then at him, and Ryan waited for rage, for tears, for anything that would confirm he'd destroyed another person for survival. Instead, she said quietly, You were going too, but didn't, couldn't, Ryan corrected. You're kind, real. I'm ashamed I even considered it. Kate's fingers traced the envelope's edge. Who hired you? Someone named Marcus. Works for a man who said it was for your own good. Her jaw clenched. I know exactly who. She was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then, unexpectedly, that money, you need it? Ryan wanted to lie, but he'd burned through his dishonesty quota for the year. My daughter's medication, but I can't take it. Not like this. Kate studied him. Some calculation happening behind those sharp eyes. Then she reached into her purse, pulled out a business card, slid it across. Ryan looked down. Embossed letters, heavy cardstock. Emma Richardson. CEO Richardson Technologies. His hand froze. He looked up. She was watching him steadily. I'm tired of being tested, she said. Tired of setups and schemes and people treating me like a problem to be solved. You had 500 reasons to be cruel, and you chose decency. That's rare. Ryan's mind reeled. He pulled out his phone under the table, typed her name. The results flooded in. Tech billionaire, $500 million company, youngest CEO in Seattle, innovations in cloud security. His fingers went numb. You're offering me a job? He managed. I'm offering a chance, Emma said. If you have tech skills. I used to code. Before, he couldn't finish. Before your wife died and you became a single parent, and survival mattered more than career. Emma's voice was gentle. I researched you after we matched. Ryan Mitchell, former senior developer at DataCore, MIT graduate, 12 years experience before you went dark. Your old work was brilliant. That was a different person, Ryan said. No, that was the same person under impossible circumstances. Emma leaned forward. I need someone who thinks creatively, who understands that skill and character matter more than pedigree, someone who'll tell me the truth even when it costs them. Come by Monday. Bring your honesty. We'll see if your code is as good as your conscience. Ryan looked at the business card, at the money still between them, at this woman who should hate him but was instead offering salvation. Why would you trust me? Because you didn't do it, Emma said simply. Actions matter. Intentions matter. You chose right when it was hard. That's the person I want working with me. I don't understand any of this, Ryan admitted. Emma's smile was tired, knowing. Vincent Ashford is my cousin. He thinks he should run the company my grandfather left to me. He set this up to humiliate me, to prove I'm naive, to convince the board I don't belong. But he didn't count on you having a conscience. She stood, and Ryan noticed how naturally she moved, how the world's inconvenience didn't diminish her presence. Monday, 9 a.m., don't be late. She left cash for both meals and walked out. Ryan sat alone with $500 he couldn't keep and a business card that promised everything. Through the window, he watched her get into a custom van, watched her drive away, and wondered what the hell had just happened to his life. Monday morning arrived with the weight of impossible decisions. Ryan stood outside Richardson Technologies' downtown office building, 40 stories of glass and steel, and felt every bit the warehouse loader in his thrift store blazer. The building hummed with the quiet efficiency of Wealth Marble Lobby, security that screened visitors with polite intensity, elevators that moved like whispers. He clutched his resume, printed at the library yesterday, and tried to remember the person he'd been before survival became his only skill. The receptionist directed him to the 15th floor. Emma's office suite took up the entire east corner floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elliott Bay, minimalist furniture, walls covered in whiteboards dense with code and strategy. Emma herself sat behind a standing desk, talking into a headset in what sounded like Mandarin, gesturing emphatically. When she saw Ryan, she wrapped up quickly and waved him in. "You came," she said, and he couldn't tell if she doubted. "Didn't think I'd be stupid enough to turn down a second chance," Ryan said. Emma smiled. "Smart. Sit. Let's talk about what you'll actually do here." The job was contract developer. 3-month trial, $85,000 annually. Ryan nearly laughed. It was more than he'd made in his prime, more than he'd dreamed of again. The project was legacy code modernization, the kind of intricate problem-solving he used to love. Emma explained the system architecture, the business needs, the technical debt they'd accumulated through growth. She spoke quickly, precisely, assuming competence. It had been years since anyone assumed Ryan was competent at anything except enduring. "Think you can handle it?" she asked. "Yes," Ryan said, and meant it. "Good." Emma pulled up an employment agreement on her screen. "HR will process everything. You start tomorrow. One thing my COO is Vincent Ashford. He's territorial, unpleasant, and technically my family, so I can't fire him without board approval. Ignore him." "The man who paid me to hurt you works here?" Ryan asked. "Unfortunately," Emma said. "Family businesses are complicated. Grandfather left me the company, but Vincent's been here 15 years. He has allies. Just do your job brilliantly, and let me handle the politics." Ryan signed paperwork in a daze. By noon, he had a laptop, credentials, desk space in the developer's pod. His coworkers were polite, curious where had he come from. Why had Emma hired him personally? Was he really qualified or just connected? He let their skepticism roll off. He'd prove himself through work, the only language he trusted anymore. The code was a beautiful disaster. Ryan dove in, and muscle memory returned like water finding its level. His fingers remembered keyboard shortcuts. His mind recognized patterns. His instincts for elegant solutions flickered back to life. By end of day, he'd mapped the critical vulnerabilities in their payment processing system. By end of week, he'd fixed a bug that had escaped 3 rounds of QA review, a subtle timing issue that could have caused catastrophic data breach. Emma reviewed his solution, nodded once. "How did no one catch this?" "Fresh eyes," Ryan said. "And I've seen this pattern before. Implement the fix. Full authority." She paused. "You're good at this." "I used to be," Ryan said. "You still are. You just forgot." Emma handed him a coffee she'd brought from somewhere. "You're working late. Kid, okay? Friend's house tonight. Sleepover." Ryan accepted the coffee. "Thanks for this. All of it. You earned it." Emma gestured to the rooftop terrace, visible through her office windows. "Come on. Break time." They stood in the evening air, city lights beginning to glow, the sound of traffic muted by height. Emma leaned against the railing. She barely reached his elbow and sighed, a sound of someone finally alone enough to drop the mask. "Can I ask why you use fake names dating?" Ryan said. "People want the company, the money, the connections. Not me." Emma's voice was matter of fact, like she'd made peace with it. I inherited this when I was 26. Grandfather believed I could build it bigger than he had. So I did 50 million to 500 million in 6 years. Board still doubts me. Vincent still thinks it should be his. And men, she laughed, bitter. Men either fetishize me or pity me. Nobody just sees Emma. Vincent hired me to prove you'd fall for manipulation, Ryan said. To show the board you're naive. I know. Emma looked at him. But you didn't manipulate me. You told the truth when it hurt. That's worth more than all of Vincent's schemes. Ryan told her about Sarah then, about the speed of cancer, about becoming a single parent overnight, about losing himself in the machinery of survival. Emma listened without platitudes, without trying to fix it. Just listened. And when he finished, she shared her own loneliness, the isolation of leadership, the weight of proving yourself constantly, the fear that success meant missing out on the ordinary connections that made life bearable. We're both stuck, Ryan said. Maybe, Emma said. Or maybe we're finding a way out. Their eyes met, held. The moment stretched, loaded with possibility neither of them quite knew how to name. Then Emma's phone buzzed emergency. Board member needed her and they returned to separate offices, separate worlds, the connection suspended but not forgotten. Friday afternoon, the school called. Lily was sick, fever of 102, needed immediate pickup. Ryan panicked. No car, no backup plan, no. Emma appeared at his desk. I'll drive you. You don't have to. I'm going anyway, she lied smoothly, grabbing her keys. Come on. The custom van surprised him, adapted controls and seating. Emma drove with casual expertise, navigating traffic while Ryan gave directions, his anxiety radiating. At the school, Lily waited in the nurse's office, flushed and miserable. She looked up when Ryan entered, then noticed Emma behind him. Who are you? Lily asked, voice scratchy. I'm Emma. I work with your dad. Lily studied her with the brutal honesty of children. You're small, like me. I am, Emma said. Is that okay? Yeah. You're pretty. Emma smiled, genuine and surprised. Thank you. Let's get you home. Back at Ryan's cramped apartment, he saw Emma taking in the space, the modest furniture. The careful organization that stretched limited resources. Emma helped settle Lily on the couch. She moved through the kitchen like someone used to adapting, finding thermometer and medicine, heating soup, tucking blankets with a competence that made Ryan's chest ache. Lily, usually shy with strangers, relaxed under Emma's gentle care. Do you have kids? Lily asked, voice drowsy. No, Emma said. But I'd like to someday. You should. You're nice. Lily's eyes drifted closed. Ryan walked Emma to the door as Lily dozed. Thank you. For everything. She's wonderful, Emma said. You're doing great with her. They stood close in the narrow doorway, something unspoken building between them. Emma's hand brushed his, brief contact that felt electric. Then she was gone, and Ryan stood alone in the quiet apartment, feeling like something fundamental had shifted in his understanding of what his life could be. The following week brought routine that felt miraculous, steady work, steady pay, Lily's breathing easy with medication they could now afford. Ryan and Emma fell into patterns, coffee runs that turned into conversations, working late together, parallel companionship. She'd bring dinner sometimes, or he'd debug code while she worked strategy. And the silence between them grew comfortable, familiar. The team noticed. Small comments, knowing glances. Ryan deflected, but he felt it too. This pull toward her that had nothing to do with gratitude and everything to do with recognition. She saw him. He saw her. Both of them, underneath everything else. Vincent's hostility was constant but subtle. Dismissive comments, questioning Ryan's decisions in meetings, making sure everyone knew Ryan was just a contractor, temporary, replaceable. Ryan ignored it, focused on work. But he noticed Vincent watching whenever Emma came downstairs, whenever they laughed about something, whenever the line between professional and personal blurred. The crisis emerged on a Thursday. Sterling Enterprises, Richardson Technologies' biggest client, $50 million contract, 5-year relationship, was experiencing catastrophic system failures. Sophisticated cyber attack. Their own security team baffled, threatening to terminate the contract if the issue wasn't resolved by Monday's board meeting. The entire office worked through the weekend, but solutions stayed elusive. Ryan stayed late Friday, Lily at a friend's house, staring at Sterling's logs. The attack pattern felt familiar, something from his old life at DataCore. He started digging, pulling threads, following digital footprints. Hours blurred. Emma brought food, coffee, sat beside him asking questions that helped him think. By Saturday evening, he had it modified Trojan exploit from 2019. Same hacker signature he'd defended against years ago. The solution crystallized, elegant and clear. He built the patch through Sunday, Emma providing access and resources, both of them running on determination and caffeine. By Sunday night, he had it. Complete, tested, ready. Emma reviewed the code, understanding blooming across her face. "This is brilliant. It's what I used to do," Ryan said. "Before." "You still do," Emma corrected. She looked at him, and something deeper moved behind her eyes. "Thank you. You gave me the chance," Ryan said. "I just returned it." They were close again, inches apart. The air charged. Emma's hand found his, squeezed. Almost kiss, hearts pounding. But then her phone rang. Board member. Couldn't wait, and the moment fractured. Monday morning, Ryan walked into the board meeting with his laptop and a terror he couldn't quite name. Emma had asked him to present the solution directly to Sterling's CEO and Richardson's board. 12 board members. Sterling's executive team, senior staff, and Vincent, watching with that cold smile. Vincent opened before Emma could. "Before we address Sterling, I have urgent concerns about CEO judgment." He displayed the dating app screenshots, payment records. 6 weeks ago, Miss. Richardson hired a contractor under questionable circumstances. She met him on a blind date where he was paid by my office to test her judgment. Then she hired him based on personal interest rather than merit. The room erupted in murmurs. Sterling's CEO, Margaret Shaw, looked unimpressed. "Is this true?" Emma stood, composed. "Partially. I met Ryan Mitchell on a blind date I didn't know was a setup. I hired him because he has 12 years of software development experience, MIT degree, and expertise we needed. His personal situation was irrelevant. His qualifications were not," Vincent pressed. "Regardless, Sterling's contract is failing under her leadership." "We have a solution," Emma interrupted. "Ryan Mitchell solved it this weekend." Ryan stood, every eye suddenly on him. His hands shook as he connected his laptop. Margaret Shaw looked skeptical. "Our specialists couldn't crack this. What makes you think?" "Because I recognize the attack signature." Ryan pulled up his analysis, the code breakdown, the vulnerability map, modified Trojan exploit from 2019, same group I defended against at DataCore. Previous vendor patched the wrong layer. "The vulnerability is here," he pointed, explained, demonstrated the fix in real time. Sterling's system status shifted to secure. The room went quiet. Margaret's CTO appeared on video conference. "That's correct. We missed that entirely. How long did this take you?" 48 hours. Once I identified the pattern. Margaret started clapping. Others joined. Ryan looked at Emma, whose expression held something between pride and vindication. Board member Judith Morgan spoke. "Miss Richardson, your hire seems extremely qualified. Perhaps your best decision," another added. Vincent's face hardened. "This doesn't excuse ethical violations." Ryan found his voice. "The ethical violation was yours. You paid me to humiliate her because you can't accept her success. You're nobody. I know my value," Ryan said quietly. "And hers. You're the only one here who doesn't," Emma addressed the board. "Vincent has undermined me for 6 years. This date setup was his latest attempt to prove I'm unfit. Instead, it proved he is. Judith Morgan stood. We'll convene privately to discuss Vincent's conduct. Miss Richardson, your position is secure. Mr. Mitchell, impressive work. Sterling would like your continued involvement. The meeting adjourned. Vincent stormed out, fury radiating. Ryan stood in the emptying room, adrenaline crash hitting hard. Emma approached, touched his arm. You saved everything, she said softly. You saved me first. Emma's eyes shone. When you stood up to Vincent, no one's done that. He was wrong. Ryan turned to face her fully. Someone had to say it. I'm sorry you got dragged into my family's dysfunction. I walked in for $500, Ryan said. I stayed for something else. Emma's hand stayed on his arm. What is that? Between us? I don't know, Ryan admitted. But it's real. I can't stop thinking about you, Emma said. Same. The door opened, Judith Morgan returning, and they stepped apart. The moment passed, but something was acknowledged now, out in the open air between them. That evening, Emma visited Ryan's apartment for dinner. Lily greeted her with excitement, showing off a thank you card she'd made 3 crayon figures holding hands. That's you, me, and Dad, Lily explained. We're a team. Emma's eyes filled. Nobody had needed her like this, wanted her this simply. Dinner was spaghetti, Ryan's one reliable recipe, and laughter filled the small space. Afterward, Lily asked, Emma, do you have a family? Not really, just me. You can share ours if you want. Emma couldn't speak. Ryan saw her struggling and said gently, Lily, bedtime. Later, on the narrow balcony, Ryan told Emma about Vincent's threat in the parking garage, about mentioning Lily. Emma's expression turned fierce. That's over the line. I'll end this. How? Board's investigating. I'll push it. Emma looked at him. What about us? Is there an us? I want there to be, Ryan said. But it's complicated. I don't care about complicated. Do you want this? More than anything, Emma said. Ryan kissed her, finally, deeply, the world narrowing to this connection they'd been circling for weeks. When they broke apart, both breathless, Emma whispered, Wow. Yeah, Ryan agreed. The board's investigation took 1 week and uncovered 6 years of Vincent's sabotage, financial irregularities, attempted client poaching. He was terminated, escorted out by security. The final confrontation happened in the lobby, public and bitter. You always get everything because of grandfather, Vincent said. Emma's voice was sad, not angry. No, Vincent, because I earned it, and you never understood that. I'm family. Family doesn't sabotage family. Goodbye, Vincent left. Ryan stood beside Emma, united front. She exhaled, leaned into him slightly. It's done. You okay? Will be, she said. With you here, Judith Morgan offered Ryan permanent position. Director of Systems Architecture, $140,000 annually, full benefits, equity. Ryan stared at the offer letter, unable to process. But Emma and I are together. Isn't that conflict? You disclosed it. We vetted your merit independently. No issue. We're lucky to have you both. Ryan found a better apartment, 2 bedrooms in a safe neighborhood near good schools. Emma helped him move, painting Lily's room together, assembling furniture while arguing about instructions. Domestic bliss in boxes and paint fumes. Lily ran through the empty space, yelling about her own room, her own bathroom. Space to breathe. This feels like a real family, Lily said that evening. Exhausted and happy, Emma and Ryan exchanged looks. It did. Thanksgiving arrived 3 months into everything being different. Emma hosted for the first time, nervous and determined. Ryan, Lily, and Ryan's old friend Marcus, different Marcus, college roommate with his wife, came for dinner. Emma had transformed her condo decorations, absurd amounts of food, warmth radiating from every corner. Lily helped cook, Emma patient and laughing when the gravy lumped. Ryan watched from the kitchen doorway, this scene that felt impossible and entirely right. So, director now? Marcus asked Ryan over dinner. That's incredible. 8 months ago you were… loading boxes, Ryan finished. I know. This is all Emma. This is all you, Emma corrected from across the table. I just opened the door. Conversation flowed easily. Ryan's new office, his team, upcoming projects. The respect in Marcus's voice when he said, You always were brilliant. Glad you found your way back. Lily, between Emma and Ryan, laughing at some joke, comfortable and secure. Emma natural with her, inside jokes forming, gentle teasing. Marcus's wife whispered, They're a real family. And Ryan heard it, felt it settle as truth. After guests left and dishes were done, Ryan found Emma on the balcony, looking at the city lights spread below. He joined her, and they stood in comfortable silence. Today was perfect, Emma said. Yeah, Ryan agreed. Been thinking about something. What? Ryan took her hands. These past few months working together, being together, building this I can't imagine going back to before. Don't want to imagine it. Emma's breath caught. What are you saying? That I want this to be permanent? I want us to be permanent. Ryan's voice steadied. I know it's fast, but nothing about us has been slow. Move in with me, with us. Be part of this family officially. Tears slipped down Emma's face. You're sure? Lily and I have never been more sure of anything. Yes, Emma whispered. Yes, I want that. They kissed, tasting salt and joy, the city lights blurring around them. Inside, Lily had fallen asleep on the couch, one hand clutching a drawing of 3 people under one roof. Emma and Ryan stood together on the balcony, holding each other, feeling the future solidify into something real and lasting. Months ago, Ryan had sat in his car outside a restaurant, holding money meant to pay for cruelty, drowning in desperation. He'd been ready to become someone he'd despised for his daughter's survival. Instead, he'd found Emma, found himself, found a way back to competence and connection and hope. The blind date, meant to humiliate, had revealed something neither of them expected, that underneath wealth and poverty, ability and limitation, loneliness existed in every life, and connection mattered more than any difference. Vincent had tried to prove Emma was naive. He'd proven she was extraordinary. Ryan had worried he wasn't enough. Emma had shown him he was everything, and Lily finally had the complete family she'd drawn in crayons and wished for in silence. Weekend mornings now meant 3 people in the kitchen, pancakes and coffee and Lily's chatter filling the space. Ryan's new apartment held all of them comfortably. Emma's belongings moving in gradually, her presence settling like it had always belonged. They were building something together, deliberately, carefully, with the knowledge that second chances were rare and precious. One Saturday, while Emma and Lily painted designs on her bedroom wall, Ryan stood in the doorway watching. Lily was explaining some complicated pattern involving stars and moons, and Emma listened with complete attention, nodding seriously. When Lily turned back to painting, Emma caught Ryan's eye and smiled. That private smile that meant everything. He thought about the eviction notice that had started this cascade, the impossible choice between integrity and survival. The moment he'd almost become someone he couldn't forgive, but he'd chosen differently, and that choice had led here to this room, these people, this life assembled from broken pieces into something more beautiful than anything that came before. Dad, Lily called. Come help us decide on colors. Ryan crossed the room, wrapped his arms around both of them, felt Emma lean into him and Lily giggle and press close. Through the window, Seattle spread out under autumn sun, the city that had nearly crushed him now holding everything he needed. What do you think? Lily asked, pointing at the wall. Purple or blue? Both, Ryan said. Let's do both, Emma laughed. Compromise, master. Learned from the best, Ryan said, kissing her temple. They painted together, the 3 of them, making mess and memories. And later, when Lily napped and Emma and Ryan sat on the couch with coffee, fingers intertwined, Emma said quietly, I keep thinking about that night. The date. What if you'd actually done it? What if you'd been cruel? But I wasn't, Ryan said. But you almost were. $500 from a different ending. Ryan was quiet, considering. Maybe. But I think I would have found a way back to decent eventually. Maybe not that night, but someday. Because Lily would have asked why I was sad, and I couldn't lie to her. She's my compass. She's extraordinary. Like her almost mom, Ryan said. Emma looked at him, eyes shining. Almost? Working on the official part, Ryan said. One day at a time. Emma kissed him, soft and certain. I can live with that. Outside, the city hummed with Friday afternoon traffic. Inside, 3 people built a family from honesty and second chances and the radical decision to see each other clearly. The past had taught them to survive. The present was teaching them to live. And the future stretched ahead, uncertain but hopeful, built on foundation of truth instead of transaction. Sometimes the wrong beginning leads to the perfect middle, Ryan thought. And maybe, eventually, the perfect always. For now, this was enough. This was everything.